What does corporate greed look like in a fantasy world? That is the main premise and the main tagline of the 5e anti-core fantasy role-playing compatible Vineyard RPG. An RPG that hosts an undead criminal organization that you can either work against or gain the favor of, called the Vineyard. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Trosk and this is still your go-to YouTube channel for everything tabletop RPG, and today I want to talk about the Vineyard RPG, the queer undead crime mob campaign setting and book for 5e and Kobold Press's core fantasy role-playing. Now the creator of this project, the person behind it, Friday has contacted me, sent me a link, and I was immediately hooked. I immediately saw the artwork, I saw the premise, I saw the part of the page, I saw some of the preview material that I will be looking into later in this video, and I really love it, and I want to see this get funded. And one of the reasons it immediately hooked me in and actually made me click the email is because this small logo right here that you can see, Project Black Flag Partner, which means that this is going to be an RPG compatible with Tales of the Valiant by Kobold Press. Of course it is, because Tales of the Valiant is backwards compatible with 5e, so it is natural that both are kind of like compatible with each other. So what does corporate greed look like in a fantasy world? That's like the main premise of this. It's also like, if you watch the trailer, go to the page and watch the trailer, by the way. That's the first line they say, and I don't know why exactly, but that line hooked me in. It might be due to like the corporate greed stuff going on around tabletop RPGs right now, but it kind of like immediately hooked me in. Now, one of the concerns I have is the funding goal. As you can see in dollars, they are looking to reach $50,000, and they have now raised 18,553. So they're closing in on 19k. They're not even halfway, and they only have 18 more days to go. So and that's the thing I have with high funding goals. It is I completely understand it. I've done my own Kickstarters, and there's a lot of like costs that come with them that you didn't expect, and delays and other stuff that costs money and time and all that jazz. And looking for 50k, I really understand it, but it also makes your project sometimes look as if it's not really that popular while you've already raised 16k. Maybe if you set your goal at 30k, you might have even raised more, because people would be more like incentivized to immediately back it, because they see that it's almost back. The green line is like here, and they're like, yeah, let's back this because it's going to be cool. So that's like the issue. I really don't want to see this not get funded, so that's why I'm also doing this video. So Friday, this person who sent me this, and Project Black Flag is a system it is compatible with, like they're saying right here, but that's now called Tales of the Valiant. Your games need compelling villains, sexy villains, gross villains, mysterious villains, and we've got them. Each of our 9 villains has a bio, a stat block, a lair, a dialogue, plot hooks, and beautiful art. And that is just the start. I'm looking into like the preview stuff in a bit, and yes, it's really great. I really like the way they built these villains. Not just like, hey, here's some background information, and here's some art, and here is a stat block. Deal with it. Do your thing. No, they really went all in with like the lair. First of all, there's a bunch of extra stuff these people can do. There is a dialogue. I really love the dialogue part of it, where you as a game master get like these glimpses of dialogue you can say in certain situations as if you were the bad guy. This is a queer gothic horror campaign guide and setting book. The Vineyard is a fantasy corporation serving as the front of the new undead god of secrets. Sign a contract with them to gain terrifying undead powers. Struggle to maintain your control against the rot that will surely consume your being while leveraging its destructive extraplanar force. If that doesn't sound awesome to you, I don't know what will. So now that is the thing. That is the main premise. There's not much more to it. It's a bunch of villains. It's world building. It is an undead organization that you can either join and sign a contract with. It introduces some new stuff, some really interesting stuff, but something that I think it is not cheap. It is not cheap. I'm gonna go out and say it. Now, everything is starting to cost a little bit more nowadays. Prices are rising, completely understandable. But like $40 for a PDF, I can see people being somewhat held back by this. The hardcover, also they split up the hardcover and the PDF. So if you buy the hardcover, you don't automatically get the PDF. So you need to do the PDF, hardcover, and Alchemy RPG module together in order to get that. And then you're spending $80 on this. So those are the pledges. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this. You can also back it for a lot of money, $500, and you can play the Vineyard RPG adventure Tower of Atonement with your game master this Friday and 4 of your friends. A wonderful horror experience over 2 to 3 3-hour sessions. So that's actually really cool, especially since it is $500, but you get to play, let's say, 3 sessions with Friday, and then it is an adventure. It introduces you to the campaign, and although it is quite a lot of money, you can split this and 4 of your friends. So I'm going to assume there's 5 spots. So you each spend $100 for 3 sessions. It is an investment, but I think personally it might be really worth it. This is something, if you're really interested in like this setting and you want to see how the creators themselves see it and want to make you feel it, then this is really something that you could really get into. Also, the artwork just really pulls me in. But without further ado, let's look at some of the preview material, and so you can see for yourself what I mean, that it's actually really well done. Just really quickly to give you an overview what is actually in the Vineyard RPG. It is, of course, those 9 compelling undead villains, all with lairs, unique mechanics, dialogue options. That is the part about it that I really love and that really pulled me in. Play as a living secret, which is called a Whisperborn lineage. So it's a lineage for a game like the Black Flag system, which is lineages and all of that stuff that's coming. Wasting sickness mechanics, contract boon and bane mechanics. I really like boon and bane mechanics. Secret mechanics, 5 major locations and 20 ready-made minor locations to play in. 10 plus horrific new monsters. Wow. Boilerplate contracts and how to form legal kimchi to develop your own, propaganda newspaper clippings, and a thrilling tier 3 adventure. That I really like. Most of these adventures that people put in their books are like tier 1 and tier 2 because people are trying to get a hang of it and everything. But they're like, nope, here's a tier 3 adventure. Boom. So there are actually 2 things that we can look in right now. But I do not want to look into the Tower of Atonement. The Tower of Atonement is a preview adventure. 30-page free preview adventure includes everything you need for a preview adventure, but you can download that for yourself. But Friday has also sent me some other preview material that I want to look into with you right now. And here it is, the preview sent to me by Friday. I couldn't find it on the Kickstarter page, so I don't think you guys can download it. If you can, I might be my mistake, but I think this is the most interesting part of this thing for me. This is what pulled me in, the villains and how they've written and built the villains. So this is all about the Siren. Now, first of all, of course, there's a page explaining that it's going to be 222-page setting agnostic supplement, drag and drop story structure and mechanics, new mechanics like downtown gameplay loop, necromantic spies, sign contracts with the Vineyard to gain powers, there's lore, villain organization, 10 villains with all kinds of stuff like lairs, and that stuff out there. There's handouts, dungeon adventures, player options, all of that stuff will be in there. But then there is the Siren. This is one of the villains, and I don't want to like really go into who they are or whatever, what they do. I just think this is set up in the way that I as game master can really use it, and especially I can really use it really quickly. I can just sit down on the toilet when I'm taking a shit and I'm just going like flip, 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 flip. Okay, I know who this is. I know where they're pissed off at the characters. I know why I want to run them, so I can just run them. So the Siren is a beautiful and beguiling performer in the employ of the Vineyard. The Vineyard, of course, is the criminal organization. A talented musician and virtuoso, the Siren performs at Her Majesty's behest, filling theaters and leaving audience with a lingering sense of longing that few can put into words. Basically, a freaking badass bard. So what they do immediately is motive. Like, there's motive, flaws, strength. Boom, it's in there. So for a person like me who likes to put these people in a game really quickly, yes, to reap souls for the Vineyard and play her depth to a a really weird name, to remain eternally young, to find the next intoxicating experience. So these are all motives. She has flaws and she has strengths. I just really like, by the way, the art is also really cool, right? How they built this. So then there's an entire biography. There is more information about how she fits into like the world of the book. There is descriptive text you can use. Really love this. For the game master, they say the DM to read out loud, but it should say GM, to my opinion, for the game master to read aloud if they want. So in combat, you got a few lines that the Siren can say, while in diplomacy situations, there's a few lines they can say. And when you transition into an encounter, the Siren laughs and the sound slides across your skin like a touch of a lover. You burn so bright, so full of life. I look forward to reaping your souls for the Vineyard. I just gave her a voice on the fly, probably really crappy. So that is the kind of stuff that really reminds me of like playing an MMORPG and you come into like the final boss of like running a dungeon with your friends. You've been running the dungeon for like an hour with your friends, like, hey, you healer, you're a piece of crap, and stuff like that. And then you come up to this end boss and they have like these lines ready, queued for you to set the tone, and I really like this kind of stuff being in there. The Siren is adept at dodging difficult, so that is how they fight. Like, more information, and then there's information about the lair. Yes, they also get lair action, and look how crazy she looks when she does her crazy thing. She has a curtain call, she has summon shade, she has a phantom blaze. It's all lair actions she can take. There's an entire stat block for her, and that's basically the preview. There's an entire stat block for her. Let's see what challenge rating she is. Is there a challenge rating here? Oh, it's a challenge rating 9, single enemy boss fight, so probably a level 8 party, well rested, can probably beat her. But I think, just for me, it is more the way they put this together, because I see a lot of like books with villains and all that stuff, and there's always like a lot of lore, but often that lore doesn't necessarily fit into your specific game, and you have to read between the lines to make it fit in your game, while this just has the lore, it has the biography, it has it, but it has it just a little bit toned down. But then it has like these quick reference stuff, like the motive, the flaws and the strengths you're seeing right now, and the lines they can say in combat, while diplomacy, and while you transition into combat, they have these lines. They have whatever they can do in their lair. It's just bang, 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 and you can use it at your table. And that is what I love about it. And that's it. That's the Vineyard RPG for you. A campaign that I personally find really interesting and has a bunch of stuff that I can really use as a game master on myself, and I really want to see get funded. So if you're interested in it, make sure to click the link in the description below and see if you want to back it. And if it's not for you, don't back it. Just leave it alone. Until next video, bye-bye.